he could get what he wanted with a heart-melting smile or a blood-curdling scream. With a calm personality and a look inside, he was quite the flirt with ladies. The girls at his daycare are all in love with him, and he was never in need of a closet himself or anything. Growing up, Gavin hit most of his milestones when he should have, like sitting up, crawling, and climbing on furniture. We did notice that he was a little behind with his walking and seemed to drag his right foot as he pushed his walker. When he wasn't walking independently by the age of 14 months, Nick and I thought it might be his foot that was holding him back. His pediatrician recommended that we bring him to a podiatrist. The podiatrist recommended that just to wait it out, if he wasn't walking by 18 months, just bring him back for x-rays. Fortunately, Gavin started walking shortly after, and then running, and then getting into everything. At the age of 3, Gavin's daycare provider noticed that he wasn't doing the same activities as well as the other children his age and younger. He was having trouble climbing steps, ladders, and his balance was off, and his overall muscle tone seemed to be weak. At her insistence, we took him to our local physical therapist. We knew she was right. We've been noticing all these things too, but as parents, we never want to admit that something could be wrong with the child. The physical therapist put him through a number of tests, such as climbing steps, pulling heavy objects, standing on one foot, jumping, and just overall balance tests. I watched these tests, and I watched him struggle, and hoping that it just wasn't going to be anything, or anything serious. The physical therapist called a few days later and said, Gavin just has floppy muscles. He just needs to play more. His balance will always be off, and he'll probably never be a stellar athlete. This was good news to me. Nothing was seriously wrong with him. He would just have other interests besides sports. He was healthy. He was going to be okay. As the months went on, Nick and I noticed that his balance got worse and worse. He was unable to climb steps or even step onto a curb unassisted. Gavin has always had a unique walk, a little stumbly but adorable for his age. This was getting more pronounced, and we wanted to fix it before he started preschool. We took him to a pediatric orthopedic surgeon who watched him walk and said he felt like it was more neurological than a bone structure problem. The orthopedic surgeon put him in braces for his legs to improve his stability and keep him healthy. These are AFOs. We named him his super legs because they're decorated with his favorite superheroes. He was then referred to a pediatric neurologist, and a brain MRI was scheduled for a few weeks later. On December 20th, 2013, Gavin had a brain MRI done, and we met with his neurologist to discuss the findings. Nick and I were nervous, but fairly certain that it could be nothing seriously wrong. He was happy. Social, healthy kid who was pretty active, was swimming and tumbling. As the doctor sat down, I caught a glimpse of Gavin's MRI and thought to myself, wow, that's a lot of weight on his brain. That can't be normal. Indeed, it wasn't. The doctor started out with questions such as, have you noticed Gavin losing any walking functions? Is he potty trained? Has he lost the ability to say certain words or swallow? Does he have problems with other children in social settings? These questions were confusing and terrifying to Nick and I. Finally, he showed us Gavin's MRI. It was very abnormal. He had more white matter on his brain than a normal 3-year-old, and then he told us that the white was neurons that had been destroyed. Gavin had what he believed to be metrochromatic leukodystrophy, a fatal, non-curable disease that would eventually take his life, but not before destroying all of the motor functions such as walking, talking, eating, seeing, and hearing. He then told us that he wasn't completely positive that he had it and he would have to consult a radiologist, but it would be a few more weeks because it was the Christmas season. He made arrangements for us to meet with a genetic doctor and warned us that it would be a slow process. Leukodystrophy was a very rare disease, and a definite diagnosis would take months. Later that day, in a state of shock, I did what every parent does. I went onto the internet and looked up MLD. If this is what Gavin had, he was missing an enzyme called ARSA. This enzyme breaks down the sulfatides, which is waste in the body. When sulfatides accumulate, they destroy the myelin covering the neurons of the brain, spinal cord, and peripheral neurons. The exposed neurons are destroyed and he will stop working, which is why his balance was off, and he had such an abnormal gait. His body was destroying itself. The diagnosis of Gavin's MLD took months, 6 months to be exact. There were several blood tests, and some of the tests were not consistent with MLD, and psychological tests also. The hospital that was working with us was unfamiliar with MLD. Finally, after many months, a chromosome test was ordered. Gavin definitely had MLD. It turned out that Nick and I both have a defective gene, and we passed on to him. We were both unaware of this gene. He had a 25% chance of inheriting 2 of these genes, and sadly he did. Our panic mode set in. What do we do now? And what about our other daughter, Allie? We repeated the test. This time Allie was the patient. Amazingly, she only carries the gene and will not get MLD. After those long months of waiting, we decided to live life to the fullest. We took our family to a trip to Disney World, visited friends and family, and more importantly, supergavact was introduced to the town of Winona. 2 of our good friends, Tabitha Fisher and Jay Rasmussen, wanted to show our town just how special Gavin was, so they decided to make a movie all about how supergavact saves Winona. He made the winning touchdown at a state football game for the Winona Windhawks. He put out a fire at the school, saving a dozen children, and even stopped a burglar in his tracks as he tried to steal a woman's purse. This movie can be seen on YouTube under supergavact. Gavin Saves Winona. Our friends and community also put on a very successful benefit to help us pay for our medical and living expenses. Our friends, family, and community have been overwhelmingly wonderful, and we don't know what we would have done without them, physically, emotionally, and financially. There's no cure for MLD. However, there are a few options for parents in the United States and a clinical trial in Italy. Because time was a large factor, we decided that the transplant was the best for Gavin. In August, Gavin underwent an umbilical stem cell transplant to slow the progression of his MLD. The procedure came with many risks, but the outcome to slow down the degeneration of was important. He's unable to be here today because of the infection in his lungs, which is caused by his low immune system. But he is making the enzyme ARSA that was missing before and has a blood work of a completely healthy 5-year-old boy. He also unfortunately has loss of function with his MLD progression because he was symptomatic when given his transplant. If he had gotten this treatment as a baby, he would have lost any functions and he would be running around and living as a more normal little boy. This law needs to be passed so that other parents won't have to go through what Nick and I went through. I wish we didn't have to wait till Gavin's symptoms appeared before we could do something about it. Not a day goes by that I wish we could have known about this disease right away. Our life would be different now. I'm asking you to give my wish to other parents. Give them time, give them more options, and a fighting chance before this disease takes over their lives.